Hi, my name is Melissa Kay, and my podcast is about the evolution of horror movies and how America has stayed fascinated by them over the years. The trait of the genre of horror is that it provokes a response, emotional, psychological, or physical, within each individual that causes someone to react with fear. With only being 2 minutes long, the first horror movie ever made was by French filmmaker Georges Méliès, titled Le Manoir du Diable, also known as The Devil's Castle. This movie contained familiar elements such as flying bats, cauldrons, medieval castles, skeletons, and ghosts, which we see in later horror films. In 1910, Thomas Edison's film company produced a version of Frankenstein, and horror has been drawing audiences in ever since. Through the silent era, horror films grew with Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, and The Wolfman. With the silent era behind us, modern horror films such as Psycho, Night of the Living Dead, The Exorcist, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween came full circle from 1968 through 1979. Horror films evolved a lot with the transition from the silent era to talkies. One of the biggest changing factors at this time was music. The music in modern horror movies holds the audience's attention and keeps them on the edge of their seats. It adds suspense to the scenes that need it the most. This is a change from the silent era for the fact that during that time you'd have to use your imagination more and the scare factor was a lot less powerful. Another major change from the silent era was the amount of gore and profanity horror films developed. It was a major step up from the previous films audiences were accustomed to seeing, which is what made them much more realistic and scary. Horror films have come a long way from skeletons and ghosts to present day. With the technology of today, the films we've learned to love have had many improvements, so much that many of our favorites have been remade, such as Psycho, Phantom of the Opera, The Last House on the Left, and The Thing. The improvement of technology gave these movies a chance to become more thrilling and to steal the audience's attention once more. Now that film got a hold of special effects, horror movies could become even more graphic and realistic than ever before. Not only were the effects better, but also so was the budget. A bigger budget meant that films could now do so much more than in previous years. Some examples of the latest horror films which indulge the use of special effects are Saw, 28 Days Later, The Grudge, and The Devil's Rejects. In conclusion, horror films have evolved in a lot of different ways. As the years go on, the technology keeps improving, setting up the film industry to expect a lot of worthy improvements in the years to come. Thank you for watching.